Well, just name one positive thing, one happy thought before I move to the next thing. Give me one happy thought.
Well, Aubameyang came on at the 5th minute and he came off at the 66th minute.
Genitalia reporting.
Oh my god.
Wait, Osuna, are you high?
R9 4th and Cristiano Ronaldo 5th.
Can I go next?
I think Cristiano Ronaldo is the greatest European of all time.
And I want to say R9 just because I actually rate him high. It's just that you always say that he had a grenade tossed to his ankle and he floated or some type of stuff like that. It's crazy, bro.
Sunday Hangouts, guys. Sunday Hangouts. Hope you have your meals and your drinks, guys. And also, guys, in case you do not know, it is I believe it's a bank holiday tomorrow in the UK. So for your UK guys and so forth, it's a bank holiday tomorrow, which means that Twitch, join your boys on Twitch tonight. We're going to be doing Pro Clubs. We're going to have an hour, maybe an hour, 50 minutes just to get through some of the Sunday show. Then afterwards, for your evening pleasure, it's always for your evening pleasure for guys on the East Coast, late afternoon for guys on the West Coast, and late nights for guys in the UK who have bank holiday tomorrow. We'll be doing our Content Cracks Pro Clubs on Twitch. So please join us in for that excitement. So with regards to the show, we're going to be reviewing the Premier League. The Premier League is the end of the season. Liverpool decided to draw with Southampton 2-2. So that was weird. So we're going to just review the Premier League.
It's 4-4.
Wait, it's 4-4? 4-4. Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. So South was 4-4. So we'll review that. The Premier League, the highs and lows, people who've survived relegation. And we're also going to look at Busquets. It was Busquets because shouts to your boy Ricardo, because I think this is actually what spawned it. Because Ricardo, again, we have a WhatsApp group for the midweek panel, and he put out that I think if I remember correctly, Ricardo said that I think I'm about to cry and jump out the window seeing Busquets have his final game at the Camp Nou. Why did he have to give it to that orphan adopted prick called Sergio Roberto? So that's what he says. So I thought, okay, that's actually interesting. Let's actually talk about that as well. So regards just to Busquets, his last game at the Spotify Camp Nou before it's renovated. And where does Busquets rank in terms of Barca legends? Kane scoring 30 goals but getting cobwebs in response for Tottenham. Does his 30 goals mean anything? And are we led to believe that is that his last game for Tottenham, or is he actually going to remain there for next season? And I want to have a Lampard discussion, but I want to actually open up this discussion and actually really talk to different fans. And my question to you guys is, how much should you support a so-called legend? And how much rope and how much leeway should you give a particular legend? Because I think there's something very weird happening within the Chelsea fan base and so forth with regards to this Bournemouth Lampard, who I believe has 4 wins in about 20 or 30 something games. Horrible record, one of the worst managers in EPL history. So guys, like the video, subscribe. Remember, this Hangout is going to be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So remember, all the weekend Hangouts are all available in a podcast form, free to listen to on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all of your podcast platforms. So, and remember, guys, if there's anything you want to add into the show, remember, Streets, we enjoy your support. Feel free to send in a super chat. Your super chats, we call them dubs up in this piece. Your super chats and your dubs help keep this channel growing. And I thank you for your amazing donations. It goes towards Hazard making a comeback in 2026. So I think this is where I want to start though. I actually want to start with Busquets, So check this out. Let me hit my stream marker. So the Spotify company is getting renovated, looking new. So and Jessica Alba and Sergio Busquets played their last game of Spotify company. Now, because I saw an interesting tweet. So someone tweeted out that Busquets and Alba playing their last game. Alba is in tears while Busquets is crying because he knows that he's going to get paid either in Saudi Arabia or the States. So it is what it is there. I don't know who's going to buy Alba. But I just thought it's interesting to now, with all due disrespects to Alba, I believe Busquets is much better seen in terms of his impact on the team. And also remember, he literally was there at the beginning. See, Alba came in, I think, in 2012. Busquets was there at the start of this dominance, and he was there at the start of what maybe people would consider one of the greatest football sides of all time. So, because my thing though is, where does Busquets land as a legend? And I want to use everything in terms of how good he was, his impact on the team, longevity, because he is literally the last. Because think about it. He has spent the longest. Of all the people of all these generations, he spends the longest. Alba was not there at the start. Xavi, Iniesta, PK, Messi, Etso, all these guys, as we've seen, left before Busquets. Busquets was there at the very beginning, and as we've seen, he's there at the very end. So he is, how they'll say in this house, he's actually the last to go. He's actually the last guy to leave, locking up and so forth. So, which goes to show that, look, many people will say, like, Iniesta, one of the best midfielders of all time. Messi, one of the best players of all time. Xavi, one of the best midfielders of all time, and so forth. People think Dani Alves is one of the best right backs. But where are you placing Busquets? Because I think that we have to use like a combination of, we can't compare Busquets to Messi because it's different positions. So we have to say, how good is he as a DM compared to other DMs? Also, how long did he spend at Barcelona? Remember, he was there during the lean years. He was on that pitch during 8-2, and he was there during the tough years of Koeman. And also, he's leaving with what I thought was a pretty impressive and surprising La Liga title. Because I'll say it again, Real Madrid had no business losing this league to Xavi Atreides, a guy who got his badges in the freaking desert. So let me kick it over to Ricardo. So Ricardo, how do you think Busquets, your boy Sergio, ranks as a Barca legend compared to the other Barca legends? Keeping in mind that he was there at the very start and stayed until the very end.
Yeah, it's an interesting discussion because it depends how you look at it. It's always hard to compare the modern players with like the historical players, right? Because if you look at historical players for Barcelona, you're looking at like Stoichkov, Koeman, the Spanish Luis Suarez, even further back to Kubala and all these guys. Although it's hard to really kind of compare them with the modern guys, just because the majority of Barcelona's success has came in the modern time. In my opinion, I would actually put Busquets in top 5, and I'll have him 5. Because I'm looking at other names like Romario, Rivaldo, Luis Suarez, Ronaldo. Those guys came in their prime. Well, Ronaldo came when he was young, but he only spent like one or two years. Can't remember.
I should have spent longer though if they didn't botch up the whole contract.
For sure. And then you obviously throw in Maradona, who was only there for like 2 years, I believe, as well. I wouldn't necessarily call them Barcelona legends. Well, maybe Luis Suarez is and Romario and Rivaldo, but they were more so legendary players of the game that so happened to play for Barcelona. But when you look at Busquets, I mean, he's been at the club for 15 years. He played at the highest level for 15 years. I think you have to look at when it started too, right? He came in 2008 when Pep Guardiola was a manager, and then he was so good that he sold Yaya Toure. And Yaya Toure at that time was a quality midfielder, and he went on to be one of the best midfielders in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So this is no average midfield. This is one of the best. If
But,
not,
but you know what I always say though? I feel that, because I remember Yaya Toure at Barca, he was good, but he was way better at City. And I think that his real role was attacking midfielder. I think that DM role was because he can play that role. it didn't come as natural to him as Busquets.
For sure, but you're still talking about a guy who was like 20, I think, when he came out, and he replaced him. That says a lot about his quality.
Yeah.
But when we're looking at Busquets, 15 years at the top, to me, he's the best defensive midfielder I've seen, the best single pivot defensive midfielder. I think that's not up for discussion. He's a deep line playmaker. He's positionally disciplined. He's defensively sound, and much like Messi, even Dani Alves, we have seen. Yeah, I think he's going to be one of the hardest players to try to replace. But I think the biggest mistake Barcelona could do is actually trying to replace a player like him, because he was such a unicorn. Like, he was one of a kind. You look at him, you'd be like, there's no way this guy's actually a football player.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird how he plays. Yeah,
and then you have to take into account the international success. He was there for Spain's World Cup. He started the game. He played alongside Xavi Alonso, and then he was obviously there for the 2012 Euros. So this guy has completed football from top to bottom. There's no doubt. He's definitely one of the most underrated players in his generation. I think.
Okay. So you still think he's underrated?
Well, yeah, because if you look at his resume, like, how are you not just one of the best defensive midfielders of your time, but you're one of the best defensive, if not the best defensive midfielders ever, and nobody sings your name alongside Xavi and Iniesta? I think he belongs in that category. I'm not saying he's above, but I'm saying he belongs.
But I think that, that's interesting though, because I would assume that people put that three as a whole. Or do you think that people have Xavi, Iniesta separate? And there was that Busquets guy as well.
We say it all the time. It's like, you say yourself, Xavi and Iniesta are a package deal, but then this is a trio we're talking about. So It's kind of like Xavi and Iniesta are more symbiotic with each other, but Busquets gets left out. But let's be honest, like, if we're going to talk about those three, the one who had kind of a steeper fall off, in my opinion, it wasn't really much of a fall off, was Xavi, because Xavi was playing as a bench player in that last treble.
Oh, wow.
Iniesta left on a high.
True, yeah.
Busquets left on a high. Busquets had his deficiencies, don't get me wrong, but they mainly came with age. But in games where Barcelona are full control of the match, if you're playing a possession-based team, there's no better defensive midfielder than Busquets.
No. He's not losing the ball. Yeah,
he's not losing the ball. He's one of the most press-resistant players ever. He's one of the calmest, cool, and collected guys on the ball. To me, he's top 5, and I'll have him at 5. I think he just edges it for Dani Alves for me. Even though
so your 5 is Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, Dani Alves. Him.
No. Mine is Messi, Cruyff, Iniesta, Xavi, and Busquets.
Oh wow, okay.
But yeah, Ronaldinho.
Wait, hold up. No Sergio Roberto. After that goal against PSG.
Top 50.
Okay, because what's it, Ziman? What do you say, man? Do you agree with Ricardo's assessments on your boy Sergio?
Yeah, actually, I would agree. He does make it to my top 5 in terms of impact. You look at the history of Barcelona.
And his 5th?
So, yeah, definitely. Because I look at the history of Barcelona and I think to myself, who's had a significant role in the position they played. You could look at players that have longevity, and Koulibaly being the second most in terms of having the number 10 role and being that guy for Barcelona in the 60s. And then you also look at what Ronaldinho did for the club. And then you also look at, other players like Cruyff, who's had an impact. I think his position-wise, I don't think there's going to be as much of an impact player like him. I mean, you could go back to Pep, but then Pep used to transition and not necessarily play that DM role. I mean, Koeman used to, Koeman used to adventure out while Pep holds it down from a defensive standpoint. But this guy's the combination of both in terms of playmaking from deep position and positioning. I think majority of people, it depends the way you assess that, what a DM is. For me, a DM isn't a person that just lunges into tackles and just runs after the ball. For me, it's about positional awareness. How good are you at reading?
No, I mean, I think there are different kinds of DMs.
Because people tend to idolize, roaming destroyers, people that just destroy, just as soon as the ball comes across them, they just clear it immediately. And then there's people that just, that are able to pick spaces and be at the right place in order to stop counters. And I think Busquets was definitely one of those. And in terms of impact he's had in Barcelona, I think he's had a profound impact. I don't think there's going to be another DM that's going to be the same. And I do agree with this whole idea of like trying to replace Sergio
Yeah,
Busquets.
you can't. You can't.
I think the best you can do in this modern game is go with a double pivot that can kind of orientate that. But in terms of getting a like for like, especially a single pivot in the modern market where there aren't that much players that can do what he does at a high quality, I don't think you're going to get that. And this is a guy that's been instrumental ever since his debut, 2008. I mean, ever since his debut, like this guy just has locked it down to the point where nobody could come around. Mascherano had to be transformed into a center back in order to get game time. It came to that point. So for me, he's going to go down as the greatest. I do think he's had an impact. Even if you want to look at the latest Euros, he was instrumental. I would argue he was the best DM at the last Euros, which, you know, winning 4 men of the matches and being instrumental to that Spain side, aside from contributing to the Xavi and Iniesta.
But let me throw this in because Ricardo said something interesting. Do you feel he's underrated or underappreciated?
I think he's underappreciated because of what people define a DM is. I think people tend to appreciate players that are roaming destroyers compared to people that pick their spots and pick their places. People look at Sergio Busquets and you don't think, you know, he's not an athlete. He's not the fastest. He's not the strongest. But at the same time, it was his ability to pick places and actually destroy counters. Because let's be honest, even if you want to look back to that World Cup final in 2010, if you actually look back into it, he's the one that that won it back for them from that counter where Iniesta ended up scoring the crucial goal. But people, again, you know, for me, a good DM is a DM where he's doing his job. And let's be honest, DMs aren't necessarily the highest rated in football. Like, I don't think they are. I mean, I look at players like Casemiro, who doesn't necessarily get that much praise compared to other players in the great 3P era. I look at, you know, I don't think DMs are necessarily rated that high in terms of football. I think that's just perspective from people, but I do think he deserves to be in that category as the greatest DM, just based on his positional awareness and everything included. And I do think he is top 5 without a shadow of a doubt. I know some people are going to say, well, Ronaldinho should be top 5 because of his impact, but Ronaldinho's impact, yes, from a marketing standpoint, I could see it from that standpoint, but I just look at him and I think to myself, like, there aren't that much DMs that can replace. Even Rodri isn't a replacement for him in Spain because Rodri doesn't play. I don't think he's that much of a dictator from deep as the Sergio Busquets. You can see Spain is missing that.
So guys, Streets, I've put out a poll, and just putting a poll stance: is Busquets underappreciated? I actually want to just see what people's views are. So I'll put out a poll, and guys, vote in the poll whether you feel Busquets is underappreciated. J2S, talk to me. Let's thoughts on Busquets, and do you feel he's underappreciated, underrated in terms of his impact?
Yeah, he's definitely underrated because when you talk about that midfield trio that everyone remembers, Busquets, Iniesta, Xavi and Iniesta always get the limelight because they're the more attacking players, you'd say. Whereas Busquets was the one that provided the base, that Barcelona side. Because I mean, that 2011 side is probably the best football side, you know, speaking. That's probably the best midfield ever assembled by any team. Yeah. And he was so crucial. You got to look at international as well. 2010, 2012, crucial. As Zima said in last year, it was him and Pedri, that midfield too, got them to the semis, and they outperformed Italy in the semis. They should have gone to the final, but they're relying on Morata, Dani Olmo, Ferran Torres, those type of attackers. And also Busquets provided one of the best assists we've ever seen.
So you're talking about 2011?
Yeah.
Semifinals.
Stop. Do you know how sick that is? Do you know that it just shows you how crap stats and who scored is? Do you know that's goal done as an assist? He gave Messi a 2-yard pass and Messi secured life.
No, but AJ, did you see the weight he put it on for Messi though?
Ricardo, shut up. He gave the simplest pass that Matteo Costa could make, and Messi literally cured life from a 2-yard pass, and he still gets the assist. So Busquets helped Messi for that goal.
He timed it perfectly, you see. Whose pass was better, Lukaku's for Martinez or Busquets for Messi? Whose pass was better?
Lukaku's pass went through four grown men. It went through 4 grown men. Look, it wasn't a freaking 2-yard pass.
Busquets stopped everyone on the field.
No, but Busquets' pass was from midfield too. Like,
yeah, it was on the center circle. Think about the assist.
Look. I'm not entertaining this crap, man.
It was a ball roll, by the way.
Wait. So Elijah, what are you saying about Busquets, man? Elijah told me. Elijah. Artist, what are you saying about Busquets? Or do you still have PTSD from 2011?
Oh no, I mean, Busquets is well, actually. I don't think I should contribute to this topic because it's really more of like a Barcelona swing song because of Busquets. I think you should come back to me when we start cooking Chelsea in the Premier League. I've got a lot more receipts there. So,
Man, you are one sad individual, man.
no, just come back to me, man. Just come back.
Minecraft the Diamond. Busquets has been in 4 eras. Pep, MSN, Downfall. Oh yeah, that's actually a really good. You know what?
Respect Coleman, man. He had his own.
No, but these are. You know what? This has actually given me a good idea for a video. Like I can actually do a video with these 4 names, like Pep era, Emerson era, Downfall era, Rebuild era.
Is the Downfall era the Coleman era?
Yeah. No, we're coming and what's that guy's name?
Valverde as well.
No. What's that guy's name?
It's
yeah, Saint-Étienne. Yeah, that's Downfall era.
They're all kind of in the same era.
You see, actually, now here's the thing: though, does the Downfall era include corner taking quickly?
Yeah, that's why I said it includes.
No. See, Downfall era began with Roma.
No, it began with Neymar leaving.
Yeah, which is Valverde era.
It also includes Xavi's first season. To be fair, we have to include Xavi's first season.
Does it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, when you're getting slapped by Frankfurt in the Europa League, that's part of the down.
No, and plus.
Nah.
That's Coleman tax.
It is because
actually, no. Technically, it is.
Yeah.
No, see, that's like the remnants of the Downfall era. Technically, it is.
Exactly. This season, it's rebuilt.
Yeah. Shout out to Joshua Jigoko. What percentage does CR7 get on the eye test? Be honest, HH. Now, here's the thing. Which
First stint Man United.
Oh, first stint in Man United. 80. Once Fergie refined him, 87%. 88%.
What are we saying? The second stint.
Now you have to be precise. As in right now, or during his peak at Real Madrid.
No, second stint Man United.
Yeah, last season.
Oh, second. We're looking at like. I think we're looking at 20 something percent because the thing is that he attempted moves, but he didn't actually pull them off. So should I give you extra marks for attempting even if you don't pull them off?
Nah,
I'm going to say 22. I'm going to say 23%.
Didn't you see step overs?
I know. No, I saw them.
It's like HH. It's like back in grade school when like you would do a test and just because you attempted something, the teacher will give you some marks.
That's the thing. But I'm not one of those teachers, though. Like I'm not one of those. I don't give you marks for attempts. I give you marks for execution. So, shout out to boy Ifman. Top DM of all time. 1, Jose Leandro Andrade. 2, Luis Monti. Oh, where are we going back? 3, Rijkaard. Rijkaard was box to box. 4, Busquets. 5, Casemiro. Guys, he's an idiot. He may be a fool. Guys, Dunga cooked. Go watch Dunga in the 98 World Cup, bro. He is a loser manager. He's a moron, but Dunga was a bloody good DM.
How good was Redondo?
Yeah, Redondo. How good was he?
Have you seen his son? His son's.
Oh yeah. People have actually been showing. Actually, he looks like a Busquets clone.
Yeah, that's all.
Looks
like a Busquets
clone.
You see, the only thing I remember of Redondo was how he gave life to who was the United defender, because he did a disgusting move on the United defender and then gave the assist to, I think it was Raul, when Real Madrid beat United. I think, bro, what he did to the defender was disgusting. That's all I remember of Redondo. Lothar Matthäus would be number 1, but his box to box, Mark Maradona. No, for me, I think Rijkaard and Lothar Matthäus are both box to box. If and again, Kante has the best peak as a DM of the modern era. Leicester City, Chelsea, 16-17, and the UCL run France World Cup 2018, but lacked the longevity and skills.
That makes no sense. How can you
wait, no, let him cook. No, let him cook. Yeah, Ifman, no, he's cool. No. Let me read the dubs. No. Ifman, I would rate. Can I read the dubs? Go read the dubs. Ifman, quality. I would rate Casemiro above Busquets if he wins the EPL, let alone a UCL with Manu. Can't do that. No longer tagged with Kroos and Modric, unlike Busquets having to suck off. I'm sorry, Busquets with Xavi and
Can
Iniesta.
Casemiro do something with Brazil, please?
Yeah, because let's not try to act like this guy doesn't represent Brazil. And let's be honest, Conte wasn't even a DM.
He does
Kante wasn't
represent
even
the
a
Copa America,
DM.
wasn't he?
He's more of a
No,
box to box.
we're talking
Like, I
about
don't
Brazil.
understand
We're
why.
talking about Brazil. I'm talking World Cups.
No, he has
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Copa
no,
yeah,
we
America.
can take- we're taking
you
what
need
we
a
can.
WC. A
He
Copa
has
America
a
is not for
Copa
Brazil. You need a
America,
WC.
He has a Copa America. Though.
But it's fair. Kessie for Brozovic swap is the rumor.
Oh, I would take that in a heartbeat.
Wait, how
There's
did how
no way
Brozovic?
anybody wouldn't take that. Yes. For
Wait, Kessie
Kessie.
is a disgusting player.
Kessie is the
So
worst.
okay,
midfielder.
so we're now all off the Amrabat train then.
Bro, I never rated Amrabat. I'm gonna keep it real with you.
It's World Cup
Give me,
time,
give me
He's the
Brozovic.
Moroccan Andrew Tate, man.
Okay, wow. That's messed up, bro. That's messed up. Shout out to come out. When will Fofana be adopted? We added to the adoption center. Go to half of football. Actually, is he there?
I don't think you added him yet. I think you still need to.
Oh.
Don't worry, it'll take some time.
No. Chelsea players don't get adopted. I'm sorry. So
They don't.
now let's look at this lovely table, shall we?
Can I speak on Busquets, please? Can I speak on Busquets?
Oh fuck. Okay, Marley, go for it. Briefly.
Yeah, shout out to Busquets. My first memory of him was against Inter Milan when he got Motta sent off.
Yes.
He got Motta sent
the
off.
whole peekaboo.
Yeah, that was my first memory of Busquets. Definitely, he's probably the best DM of this 21st century. He's a world-class player. He's a legend of the game. His consistency and his peak was like no other. I would say he's underrated because of his style of play. And like DMs, they don't get much love. Like it's not a striker or a centre back, even like a number 10. So he doesn't get the love that he should. I think he's played the most games with Messi out of any player that Messi's played with in his career. That just shows the consistency he's had. And like I feel like fans in the future, when they like watch Busquets or they reminisce over the great Barcelona team, his name won't be brought up with the Messi, Iniesta, the Xavis, those type of players. So I would say he's an underrated player. But yeah, he's in the conversation for the greatest DM of all time. Like his technical ability is unmatched. Like his first touch, his press resistant, and for
His
his
football
height as
IQ,
well.
his awareness,
Yeah, and his tackling. Do you remember a player before Busquets that played like that deep lying playmaker role, but wasn't known for his tackling, but played as a DM? Do you remember a player before him that used to play that style?
Wait, you mean like so you mean of any team like Busquets?
Yeah, like pre Barcelona, pre Pep. Do you remember like a top player playing that style of play as a DM? Because mainly teams played 4-4-2, so it was more of a double pivot.
That's the thing that like Busquets launched a whole different era. Because for me, like for instance, like a DM I remember was Dunga, and you have to remember, people didn't really play DMs. Really, this era that's coming through and so on and so forth, it's the whole DM era. The era before this was either you're doing 4-4-2, either you're doing 4-5-1, or you're doing like a 4-3-3. And of all of those things, you don't really have a DM in any of those. Even in a whole 4-3-3, maybe you'll have two at the base, and then you'll have your number 10.
Would you say they were more box to box? Like
you see, that's the thing. You see, either you'd have like a Lothar Matthäus or a Rijkaard that's a box to box, or you'd have like a Dunga who, yeah, he's there to protect the defense and so forth, but he didn't play like a Busquets. Because you have to remember, nobody held possession like this Barca team. So it was the first time since like the Dutch team from the 70s, you had a team that had such hyper possession. So when you don't have that hyper possession, Busquets is very important. But if you don't have that hyper possession, then you have like a guy like a Dunga who you need more athleticism to move the ball around if you're going back to front.
Yeah, that's why I would definitely say he's underrated. And like, he was never in the Ballon d'Or like top 10, top 20. He was never seen as like an elite player, which he was because of the trophies he won and the performances he put in. And like he was a top player.
Okay. So wait. Let me just get this. So results from the poll: is Busquets underappreciated? 19% said sort of. 30% says nah, he's appreciated, but 50% says he is underappreciated.
Would you say historically speaking, like history is not going to be kind to Busquets, but the football enthusiasts are going to know?
Yes, because I think that the issue is when you look at the if you watch his YouTube highlights and so forth, you don't really appreciate what he's doing. You only appreciate a Busquets when you're actually watching the game fully.
You know what I think? I think his legacy is gonna live on through that being Spain's DM, because every player that comes through Spain is always going to be compared to the best DM that
but I
Spain's
think
ever
it's
had.
but it goes to the point that Ricardo says, if you understand football, then you'd realize just how amazing of a player is. It's almost similar to like Iniesta, where like of course people appreciate Iniesta, but to really know how good Iniesta is, you actually have to watch the games. Like, put it this way: how many people who are not really into football talk of Iniesta in a big light? Not many people. Only guys who really know football know Iniesta. Guys that are football casuals. Oh, Messi, he's the guy that does all this kind of stuff and everything, blah blah. But they don't really know about why. Do you know Iniesta was almost as important as Messi?
Typically, the attackers
I think Busquets' prime as well was after Pep left, in my opinion. His prime was during the MSN era.
Actually, but look, let's move because we need to. We're on a tight schedule. Let's move. So let's now talk on this, bro. So EPL, the EPL is over.
Finally.
So this is the table that we read. This is the end of the table here, man. Sorry. What am I doing? Here we go. So here's my thing here. And anyone can even jump. Like, Gary, you can jump in. Can Arsenal now say that this was a successful season? Because they've lost Liga and so forth, but since the end of the league, 38 games played, 84 points, only 5 behind the champions, well ahead of third place. Can Arsenal now say this was a damn success? Well done, Arteta. Or is it still, man, we messed up the league? Because after the fact and so forth, Arsenal, they finished second comfortably.
No, that's a failure.
You know what's odd about
They came second with 84 points.
To be fair, there's something odd about this table, guys. Like, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, same. Yeah, Chelsea's not there. We know.
RDS.
Can you scroll down?
RDS, don't get punked on Saturday.
You need to
RDS, don't get punked on Saturday. Just don't get punked in the final, bro.
Guys, relax. It's the end of the season. It's the Premier League. I'm doing analysis. All I'm saying is that, considering what I've got in my hand right here, a receipt right now that I'm about to play, I thought that I would see a certain team somewhere on this screen. Now, HH, at the very least, can you at least scroll down so we can actually see where your team officially
We will get there. I am dealing with the top half of the table.
Okay.
So when you look at this top of the table, what is the thing that strikes you the most? Not mentioning, Chelsea, we'll get there, but the thing that strikes you the most here from looking at this,
aside from obviously the blue word, I think the biggest thing is, people talk about Arsenal. The biggest thing, to be honest, is Newcastle making top 4. That for me is the biggest thing, because people need to remember.
So does that go in conjunction with Liverpool with 67 points? So remember, so Liverpool last year was it 91 or 92?
92.
They were 1 point behind. 92, yeah, 1 point behind.
Yeah, so does that go in conjunction with from 92 to 67?
What? So you're saying that like Liverpool's like? What do you mean?
No, because I think it's a package in terms of Newcastle making top 4. They made top 4 from 71 points. To go from 92 to 67, that is a crazy drop off. Even if you just got something in the region of 92, like 80 something, 70 something, you'd comfortably come fourth. So
Liverpool's a weird one, because Liverpool literally were crap for the first half of the season, and then almost sort of came back to where we think Liverpool should be in terms of the play style the second half of the season. So it's kind of like this is where they should be based on the performance. But if they couldn't kind of start the way they finished and add on to make good signings, McAllister, etc., then I can see them still getting back to where they want to be, because they did they finished relatively well compared to when they started. I think the thing with Newcastle is that Newcastle literally were batting relegation last season. They were literally in the position that Leicester and Everton were. So to go in the space of one season, because no one thought they were, It's going to take 3 or 4 seasons, etc. To go in one season to go from relegation fodder to top 4 to secure CL money, and then obviously the various signs they're going to be sort of linked with is obviously massive for Newcastle. And we'll see what happens. Shout out to Eddie Howe. We're sliding on English managers. English managers are garbage. Although, shout out to what's his name?
Shout out to Eddie Howe. No, Eddie Howe, great, an outstanding job, man.
We'll probably talk about it later, but shout out to pensioner Roy Hodgson as well, man. Somehow,
okay, yes, we'll get there. Yes, we'll get there.
Later, yeah.
so, Ricardo, you look at this table. What's the thing that strikes you the most?
I see a whole bunch of mid teams in the top half.
You're calling in Brighton, Villa mid teams.
Let's be honest. When we think of big Premier League teams, Fulham, Brentford,
yeah. You know what? Yeah, because that's fair.
Brighton, Newcastle, Arsenal, United, they're.
Sorry, Ricardo, did that mid team beat your club?
We curb stomped you in 2 Champions League finals. Rest in peace.
Let it go, man. Let it go. He called it mid team. Deal with it. He called it mid team. No, you've not won a league title in over 10 years.
No, I mean until you beat us in Champions League, not that stupid cup called Europa League. None of those wins actually count.
Can you actually qualify?
Can you win a trophy?
Didn't you get knocked out by Sevilla, a team that was struggling relegation?
Oh yeah. That is true.
Wasn't that you? Did you not?
More than you recently.
Wait. Let's Ricardo land, please. Artist, Mitchell, let Ricardo land.
Before I was rudely interrupted by Peaky Blinders Studio.
Oh wow.
Look, man, it's a routine victory for Man City. Arsenal, I actually think Arsenal had a good season. Let's be honest. At the start of the season, nobody thought Arsenal would ever be in this position. So let's not be revisionist. I mean, yes, the title could have won the title, but they ultimately didn't. It is what it is. Man City is going through a dynasty. It is what it is. Yeah, I mean.
Oh, sorry. Big up Emery, by the way. I just realized it. Villa got 7th. Shout out to Emery.
I think.
Europe. No, for me, because again, you see, I don't want to talk on Villa yet because that's goes in. So when we get into the bottom half of the table bubble, we'll get there.
I think. We're gonna talk about Kane, right? That bump.
Yeah. That's a separate thing.
You can. Somebody else can take it.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. Zeman, go talk to me. Thoughts on what strikes you here?
I'm gonna be honest. The things that strike me is Man City's gonna definitely go back to back. Looking at this table, I also think that Arsenal had a failure of a season because you were 8 points to 7 points up top, but then your expectations
and you're ignoring.
You didn't perform up to standards. And then I'm also looking at.
So okay. On that, so last year 69 points. The year before 61 points.
Hey, look at Chelsea.
The year before that 56 points.
I gotta be honest. All you're showing is Chelsea's regression.
The year before
Chelsea's regression.
Chelsea's a top 4.
That's all you're showing.
I know, it's just weird, man.
You're just showing Chelsea's regression.
Do you know how? Okay, you know what? We'll get there. But look at this. So 70 points, 56 points. 61 points.
Can I make
69
my point?
points, and then 84 points. That's look at that. That's a freaking leap. You can't just ignore that.
My point is expectations change throughout a season. I don't think expectations are defined by where you start off, and that's the only thing that matters.
Okay. So Simon, you're saying that they shouldn't. You cannot take anything positive out of this. Nothing.
No, you could view it as like, hey man, we made it to a Champions League spot, but at the end of the day, it's a failure because how long you've been up top compared to other winners of the EPL. There's no other way of looking at it. And for me, you also look at the fact that Newcastle made it. I have to give them credit because again, I kept saying they were going to fall off.
No, Mister. I didn't think Newcastle would make it. I didn't think that.
Yeah. Because towards the end of the season, towards the end, we were talking about Man United, Newcastle, and Liverpool, and which one was going to make it. And I was adamant that Newcastle wasn't going to make it, but they did make it. You have to give credit to Eddie Howe. I think he deserves to win. The best manager in the EPL. Along with he's the only contender for Pep. If I'm being honest, compared to other managers. But Unai Emery, his impact. I mean, you got to give him credit where it's due. And
like Villa were hovering just above relegation, and then look at what he did with. At a point, they were flirting with top 4. Emery.
Yeah, and here's the thing. The other thing is, how can you end up having a fantastic season like Harry Kane, but you can't end up being in the top, but your team ends up having a horrible season, and it's a sign that you need to go. Like this.
Yeah, no. We'll get there. We'll get to the Kane thing. So, does anyone else have any thoughts on the EPL table before we?
Can I talk?
J Swiss, just go for it.
Yeah. When you talk about the Arsenal thing, can you bring the table from when Unai Emery is there, so the 18-19? So they had a worse squad back then, and they got 70 points. If you go to the next season, I think they got 56.
So 18-19, 70 points. That was with Emery. 19-20, 56 points.
This is when Arteta took over.
And then 20-21, 61 points. And then last season, 69.
But Arsenal's kind of a weird one because, like, for example, 18-19, they made a European final. And then 19-20, the caveat was winning an FA Cup. And then after that, they didn't really, do much. So I mean, it's not. I mean, Zeman has a really good point in saying that it's a disappointment. But let's be really honest. When we were talking about this in August, the expectation for Arsenal was to get the Champions League.
Yeah.
No, but it's still fairly either way because you didn't win the trophy. You were 8 points clear. You need to win the trophy.
Was there expectation to was?
No, but the aim was.
Elijah, this is what I try to say.
What's the aim? To get first, to get second place, get first place, and you had the opportunity to get first place.
They don't have the capability. They don't have the.
No, but the whole point is Arteta took him back so far that this looks like progress now. He took him back further. He took him from 5th to 8th, and then 8th again. So look, going from 8th to people when they went from 8th to 5th, like you went to the position you were under Emery with a worse squad. So it's not. It's you can say it's progression, but it's not actually progression. You just went to the same space.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's still failure. And the whole point is they won. What was it? They won trophies when he first took over. That 56 points. There's only 2 players left from that squad, and they still won a trophy.
Can I go next?
Yeah. Go for it.
All right. First of all, I'd like to say it's been a good season. You know, as a Bayern fan, it was a very good season.
Anthony, speak on 8th, bro. Speak on 60 points.
Let me talk about Tottenham. This season's been very shit, very trash. I've cried. I've mentally broken down many times. There's many times during this year, like our future is bleak, and I don't think it's going to get any better. I'd like to shout out Emery. I'd like to shout out De Zerbi, and I'd like to shout out the Newcastle manager, Howe. And about the Arsenal point, Arsenal bottled it, guys. What are we saying? Arsenal bottled this season.
But you're only saying that's because we're a sports fan.
Arsenal was on top of the table for how many days?
243 days.
How many days are there in a year?
365. 366. I think is that leap year is 65 or 66?
65.
65, yes, 65.
But they do 65.4.
Arsenal
whatever it is.
was on top of the league for 247 days. That's literally 2/3 of the season. They were on top, and they bottled it. Expectations change over time. You know, you go from being.
So Anthony, you expected Arsenal to win the league. Arsenal. A team who've not won since 2004. You expect them to win the league.
Expectations change. Like when Tottenham.
No. What I'm saying though is that here's the thing. If you expected them to win the league, cool. I never did. So because I never expected them to win the league, I can't say it as a failure because I never expected you. I don't care how long you were on top of the table. I never expected you to win the league.
But it changes. Your goals change. When you start off small and you develop yourself to a certain point, your expectations increase.
No, but it's like you're not listening to me.
Increase.
I don't care where Arsenal were or how well they were doing. I never expected them to win. So them not winning, I can be like, oh my gosh, you guys failed and so forth. I'm like, how do you mean by you failed when I never believed in you winning the whole thing. Oh, you didn't win. Okay, disappointing. But I never believed in you. So I never believed that you'd ever win the league. I never took it seriously.
The issue about that is the statistics of how Arsenal were doing goes against everything you're saying and how you said you don't.
Here's the whole point.
Intangible.
It's a 38 game season. I don't give a crap what the stats say. And all through the season, when everyone said, "Oh, like, look at how good they're doing," I said, "Guys, I'm sorry. It's a 38 game season. Until they've mathematically won, I'm not believing in them." Because I know that when the pressure mounts, they will somehow find a way to lose games. Because I just not believe these guys that when it really gets real and it comes towards the end of the season, these guys will close the freaking deal. Because
But they got Starboy Saka, HH. They got Starboy Martinelli. They got the youngest team in the Premier League. They're playing exciting football. They got the best manager. He's better than everyone else, you know. He's better than Pep. I was hearing he's the next region, Pep region. He's a Pep region in FM Football Manager 2040. You'll see he's gonna have the same statistics. I was hearing Arsenal fans absolutely ride Arteta, team. And
you was hearing wrong.
Now it's the end of the season, and now they're crying. I'm eating Arsenal tears for peanuts. You know what I'm saying? Like my team's in the mud. I'm eighth, but I look at Arsenal, I see how they bottled it. I see how they were talking throughout the season. But Bayern won the league. Tottenham, Lucas Moura scored a goal in his final match for Tottenham. And Arsenal in the mud. They bottled it. And it's beautiful.
No, look, see, if that makes you feel good. Okay, so look, let's now go to the relegation battle, right?
Yeah, can I speak on Leicester, please?
You don't know. Okay, hold on. Let me just swim. So, guys, shout out to Everton, man. Shout out to your boys, Everton.
Nah, bro, that's ridiculous, man. They can't keep getting away with this, man.
So Elijah, speak on the drama of what your boy Doucouré did.
If you're in the Discord, I wouldn't say put your hand up, but. So it's the Discord guys and myself.
Hold up, then Elijah. Elijah, I've got to draw that. So, like, there are no cameras. How do you? Okay, look. And put their hands up and so forth. Look, but Elijah, speak on Everton surviving.
Bro, I can't keep doing. They can't keep doing this.
It was an amazing goal. It was an amazing goal, bro.
Everton has been in this situation 3 times already. And 3 times they somehow managed to survive. How they keep doing this, I don't know. Because honestly, when you look at it from start to finish, Everton has been absolutely hot garbage. Honestly, they should.
Thanks to Lampard.
Lampard tax.
That's my problem. Why wasn't Lampard? Lampard should have stayed another year at least. Because bro, Everton's one of those clubs, bro. Like I get it, you know, Merseyside Derby tax, bro, but I just don't like them, bro. They're pointless.
No, but look, you have to say, like, when Doucouré scored, that must have been an amazing feeling. That was an amazing goal.
But also, I gotta also blame Bournemouth too, man. Like, Solanke has like 2 shots where like it clearly could go bottom corner and he shafts it, and then I guess they got into a fight. I think it was like the 71st minute. And then Pickford somehow, I don't know if he pulled his hamstring or pulled a calf. He goes down, and so the game goes +10. And from there, like, it's like Bournemouth doesn't even want to play. Bournemouth is just vibing at this point. I'm just like, yo, like, dog, there's some serious business to be taken care of, Bournemouth. Do your job.
Why did they need to play, though?
Say that again.
Why did they need to play, though?
No, I'm just
sportsmanlike, because Leicester be like, hey, can you please give these guys a game?
Yeah,
they don't care about Leicester. That's nothing to do with Leicester.
That's BS. You can't.
No. They were getting information of the other game. So all 3 teams, everybody has their cell phone, so they know what's going on. You know, like.
You'll be saying Bournemouth, why aren't you even playing? I'm like, why did they have to play them? Like,
I'm just saying because I want Everton down. I want Everton down. that's all I want.
Oh no, I think you know, it's one of those weird ones where Bournemouth have no obligation to go all out when they've got nothing to play for.
No,
but if you're Leicester, you're like, come on, play to the best of your ability. So, but then again, if you now look at the record, Bournemouth had lost 3 straight before they faced Everton. So Everton were actually better in form than and Everton were playing at the crib as well. So
no, Leicester have only themselves to blame. They shouldn't be in this position.
Look. See, I think look, Leicester, you can't put yourselves in this position.
But
because it's not about one game, it's about 38 games. Over the 38 games, you shouldn't have been in this position where you're now hoping for Bournemouth to do a favour in way as Everton.
I think Leeds are a bigger disappointment than Leicester.
Yeah, but guys, I think you all have to look at it from a like a overall, like what's been happening the last 5 to 7 years or the last 7 years. Obviously, we know they went from league champions to insane Champions League run. And then they win the FA Cup, and then they do well in Conference League. They get to the Conference League semi. But for me, I think where things went south for Leicester was when their owner died.
Yeah.
When their owner died, that's when everything kind of, in a way, like turned for the worse, because he was like the glue. Like he was the guy that was holding that club together.
And also, if you think about it, as these guys go down, like Tielemans is out of there, Maddison is out of there. So
Barnes,
all those top players, there's no chance those guys are playing championship football.
No.
So really, because also Leicester, they'll definitely need the money. So if you need like a number 10 or an attacking midfielder, Maddison is there. If you need a central midfielder, your boy Tielemans is in there.
And another thing is,
Tielemans and Enzo.
And I don't think some of these teams are going to come back immediately. Out of those 3. Like, I think the only team I honestly think that could come back immediately is Leeds, because I guess those guys are going to stay. Most of them are going to stay, like McKennie. I think McKennie's going to go there permanently in the summer, supposedly. And then a couple of other guys will stay there. So I think Leeds is the best option to come back quickly. But Southampton, half of that team's going to go. They're going to get a new manager. Ward-Prowse looks like he's going to leave. The same thing we already spoke about Leicester. So it's really sad to see, honestly.
What's it called? So where are we? Z-Man, thoughts on the bottom half of the table, like Everton?
This is technically not the bottom half, by the way. There's still 2 teams.
No. So everyone has talked about the bottom half. All right, cool.
This is
all
the
right,
bottom 8, not the bottom half.
Yeah.
So let me take some dubs, and then we can go to the next topic. So where are we at? Casey,
the Chelsea, man.
Can anyone understand WH's bottom half language? I'm also a Barca fan who got pimp smacked by Frankfurt as well, and my club hasn't won a UCL since MSN.
Have you won
also as well? So interesting though. I don't know what you can say. I don't know what you're incriminating yourself.
Chelsea beat Frankfurt.
Which means shout to Ifman. If Levy is not willing, unless it's Real Madrid based rumors, should Kane bat his contract or just wait for a year to live in it free? I'll come back to this dub when we get to the Kane subjects. Zoting TV, Dyche is the best English manager. No, Howe is. Eddie Howe is. Pound for pound, Eddie Howe is. But let us give credit to Dyche, because Dyche cleaned up that bomb's mess, Lampard's
longevity.
mess. Dyche cleaned up his mess.
DVT.
Liverpool tried to do the last-minute Undertaker sitting up routine, but left it too late. The casket was already locked and it's left the building. Liverpool left way too late.
No, so here's the biggest thing. I was going to ask you guys this question and ask the streets as well. We're up 2-0, right? At this point, I'm like, and I'm happy, Firmino gets to leave on a good note. I'm happy for the guy. He's my AVI today. Congrats to him, his family, and all he's done for the club. And like, when he first came to the club, he was suppose he was dealing with like drug issues, and I mean not drug issues, but like alcohol issues.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I mean
that's a story. That's a story I've read, but like helped him turn him around and everything. Like got his life in track and everything. My thing is, how the heck do you blow a 2-0 lead? Then you find yourself down 2, and then it finishes 4-4. Like dog, like what's going on here?
Well, I think Liverpool gave up. Like, remember, there's nothing to play for. They give up. Like, Liverpool don't do that if, let's say, there's something to play for on the final day. It's
not even that, but Alisson didn't play. I understand, like, Coleman Kelleher wants to get game time, but it's hard because there's a guy like Alisson who's there, who's world class. Like, it's very complicated to fight for a spot, and I understand if he does leave. And And then got to get rid of people like Joe Gomez. Joe Gomez. Oh,
No, it's Joe Spice. It's Joe Spice.
Yeah, no, it's Joe Spice. Oh, okay, wait, hold on. Let me hit this. So Casey, a certain club spends around 15 mil for each point.
That's wild. That's
my God! You spent 15 mil.
Wow. 15 million's bigger than my club's.
I'm not bringing out my calculator. So. Money Mace. Anthony's team plays in a bomb league where 71 points wins. Oh wow! Shout out to Money Mason.
What league is this?
I think he's attacking Tottenham. So let's look. We'll get Chelsea will be the last point when we get there.
Why
but
not,
let's talk about.
Why not now?
Let's talk about Kane.
You need to dedicate me to good
The streets want to
The
know
streets
why
are
not.
saying they want a lot.
Let's talk about Kane. I don't give a damn what the streets say. I don't care what the streets say. So I wanted to come back to this. So if Levy is not willing, unless it's rumors, should Kane buy out his contract 1 year left, or just wait a year to live in free? Kane in buying out his contract. But see, here's the thing though, guys. Okay. Let me just put this out there. 30 goals means nothing when all you get are cobwebs in return. Someone put out a tweet saying that Kane scoring 30 goals with this Tottenham team is more impressive than Haaland scoring 36 goals with the City team. And I say BS.
BS, that's crap.
I call that BS because at the end of the day, your goals have to mean something. Stats padding for the sake of stats padding doesn't mean anything. I'm sorry, it doesn't mean anything, because if you're just stats padding where there's no pressure, there's no expectation, I'm sorry, it's different where Haaland is coming in where all eyes are on you, are like, oh, big guy Haaland, how good are you really? This is your first season. Are you just a Bundesliga attack? So remember, Haaland was dealing with a lot more pressure than Kane was. Kane, bro, Tottenham, it's a holiday camp, you can do whatever the hell you want. Everybody was waiting, including myself, for Haaland to fail. Say, look, you can't really do it in the EPL, you're just a fugazi and so forth. But not only did he answer his critics, he answered it in flying colours. But my view is, Levy is so psychologically challenged. He may actually keep Kane and allow him to go for a free. Ricardo, okay, two things. Should we be impressed by Kane getting 30 goals for Tottenham, or is it irrelevant because he won nothing? And do you think Kane stays?
All right, first part. Do I think it's impressive? It definitely is impressive. I'm sorry, HH. You have
no. Wait, why are you saying sorry? Like 30 goals with no pressure is good. I mean, like, Ricardo, I respect stats padders that gets cobwebs as a return. I'm actually agreeing with you.
I also didn't know that football was an individual sport. I must be watching tennis or something. Look, if we're gonna have an objective conversation about Harry Kane, he probably is the best player in the Premier League, and a lot of people don't want to have that conversation. You can have your Kevin De Bruyne, which is a fair shout. You could have your Erling Haaland, which is another fair shout. But Harry Kane, look at the quality he's playing with. Like, isn't an ex-teammate his manager right now? Like,
Mason.
Yeah, I mean, he scored 30 goals. I'm hearing, I didn't count this, but I heard that he scored 30 of his goals came in 26 different games, which is pretty good. When I look at Haaland's, I just did the count. He scored 36 goals in 22 different games. So it's marginal, but Harry Kane's goals are far more spread out. So therefore, his goals actually have contributed to the result of his team, or whether it's a win-loss, it's more spread out.
But my response to you is that isn't there a difference performing under pressure and without pressure? And wouldn't you accept that Haaland had more pressure than Kane had this season?
I think you're taking two situations and you're trying to view them in the same place. Yeah, I definitely do agree that there's more pressure. For example, Haaland, debutant, he a hype name, there's this and that, but at the end of the day, Haaland was in a formula that was always going to make him succeed. Like, for God's sakes, I literally said that he was going to break the goal scoring record. Like, the odds of him being top goal scorer were really good for him. He was in a well-oiled machine. Let's be honest. If if Haaland broke the record this season, which he did, if Harry Kane was in Man City, I think he will break the record as well, because you have a team that's going to completely exploit what he's good at, and he's pretty much almost putting similar numbers to Haaland, playing with
But Ricardo, it doesn't always work like that. Like 1 + 1 doesn't always equal to, because everyone says, "Oh, if he can do like this with Tottenham, imagine if
But
with
let's be
City."
honest, this is the thing. I don't think Haaland is a perfect fit for Pep Guardiola's Man City. It's just that Haaland is such an incredible goal scorer, such an efficient goal scorer, that it works, because the game is ultimately down to, can you put the ball into the back of the net? And that one thing is what Erling Haaland is so great at. But if we're talking about football, when Man City had the opportunity to sign Harry Kane, but Daniel Levy was being, hard-headed, by all means, it's his asset. Everybody knew that Harry Kane, and under Pep Guardiola, there's a reason why Pep wanted him. It was going to work. Like, if you talk about the type of profile that Pep wants for his side, Harry Kane in the Premier League is probably the best fit. The playmaking is there, the goal scoring is there. Like, bro, let's be honest. Like,
this is all true and everything, but okay, 30 goals for what?
Yeah, but okay, that's like saying Ronaldo, the season Ronaldo scored 46 goals in La Liga didn't mean anything because Messi scored 50 and they won La Liga.
But Ricardo, take the whole pie. Cristiano has a La Liga titles, Champions League titles, to add with that 46 goals. So it's a whole pie. See, the issue here is that if Kane had some trophies, if Kane could actually perform in a major final and actually help Tottenham win, and he had this 30 ball, looking good.
Okay,
but the issue is that all I'm seeing are just goals that amounts to nothing.
Okay, see, but you're missing the difference here. The difference is that one played for Real Madrid and one plays for Tottenham.
Then move.
Okay,
you signed the freaking contract extension. Why should I have it? Because the issue, Ricardo, I have here is, why should I get into this dialogue of like, man, look at what he has to work with? You had the freaking chance to move. Nobody was forced you to stay.
I do agree that he doesn't perform when it matters. Now we have the Euros finals, we have the Champions League finals. My dude was probably injured, and then the other cup, the one they bounced Mourinho. That's 3 finals he didn't show up. Okay, fair enough. I want to ask you a question, HH. I hate to use Ronaldo as a reference point, but we're already on that topic. Did Ronaldo perform in every single Champions League final he ever played in?
You mean Chris? No.
Okay, exactly. Because he had teammates that were willing to, dig him out of the, the mud when things got going hard.
But he said, "What's up in 2017?" Though
it doesn't matter. The point is that his teammates stepped up for him. If Kane doesn't show up, are we really gonna look at Son? Are we going to look at Lucas Moura? Are we going to look at Kulusevski? Like, these guys are not going to do anything. If Kane's not going to do anything, these guys are not doing anything.
But my thing though is that the reason why I have zero sympathy is that we're not. This isn't like internationals where there's nothing Kane can do. This is club football where there is something you can do. You can effectively force a move, but you chose. Key thing here, you chose to stay. You could have very easily been like, I'm out. But you, without no one putting pressure on you, you chose to stay. So I don't want to hear this crap of like, man, look at what he has to work with. No, I don't want to hear that.
No,
you chose to stay in this Tottenham setup knowing what Levy is. So I don't want to hear that crap about how, man, 30 goals with these guys. I don't give a crap.
Okay, but then you're not assessing football properly, man. Like, you have
No, but you're missing the point that I'm saying. Obviously, on the surface, of course, it's impressive that you've managed to score 30 goals with such little help around you. That's a moot point. That's an obvious point that doesn't even need to be made. But when we now look at proper context, I can't really fully appreciate it because you had the chance to not work with these guys. You've been doing this for several years. You've been top 3, top goal scorers for several years. So it was obvious that you were far too good for the situation around you, and the situation around you was never going to move up to your level. But you chose to stay. You chose to remain here, which means that I'm not going to feel any sympathy of, man, look at what you're doing and look at what little support is around you.
I agree with you in that sense. That's why this coming transfer, or maybe even the one after, is very, very pivotal for his career. Now, to answer your second question, should he leave it? Bro, he should have left a long time ago. But the problem is is that I genuinely think he wants that all-time top goal-scoring record. So he's probably going to want to stay in the Premier League, whether it be Manchester United, maybe a little cheeky Chelsea bid. Who knows what he may want? I really don't know. Do I think his best option?
Sorry, he can't leave. I will disagree with HH an idea that he had the choice to leave. Like I still emphasize over and over again, Daniel Levy has been very, very clear. He will not sell his prized assets to a Premier League rival. He's made himself very clear that since he's with Kane, with anybody. Like then, if Barca, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, that's a different story.
Yeah,
Kane
but
leave.
I think look, I think that dub that said he should go to Real Madrid. I think the Real Madrid one makes a lot of sense because if he goes to Real Madrid, Benzema. I mean, we're gonna say Benzema fell off, or we're gonna say Benzema just had a bad year. I think we'll have that question gets answered.
No, he's fallen off. Benzema's fallen off. No, see, look at the thing though. Like the issue is that there is this thing of English players not wanting to leave England. 1,000%. Kane, if Bayern or Real Madrid is there and Levy doesn't want to sell to a rival, go. But my issue with Kane is that I don't think Kane realized that, bro, take your talents outside of England and see how much better you improve and how much better you make England. Because I think him moving out of England would do wonders for the England national team because it would just improve his overall game. But I just feel that based on the English media and so forth, they need him to stay in the Premier League because they need him to be the face and remaining in England.
It always helps when arguably the best player in the league happens to be from the same country the league is, right? However, like I said, it ultimately just depends on him or what he wants for his career. I think a lot of these English guys are very they glorify the Premier League obviously because it's their homeland and and that all-time goal scoring is definitely something that probably Kane wants. But like I said, making the argument for him to go to Real Madrid, Benzema, let's just assume he's really fallen off and it was just not a bad year. Like I said, I don't think Mbappe and Haaland are going to play on the same team, that team being Real Madrid. And so I think maybe Kane going to Real Madrid. Endrick is still 16. He's going to need 2 more years before he can even go to Spain. And then meshing him with the team and everything is going to take 3-4 years in total. Kane will probably be gone by then. Mbappe could play alongside Kane and Vinicius. I don't know how that worked, but I think Real Madrid is probably at the best possible transfer for him. But I think if Real Madrid do get Kane, what does that say? What are they doing with Benzema? Benzema is definitely not going to ride bench, nor are they going to play together on the field.
No, I think this is all hypothetical, but and even the point they made that it's that record, and I think due to that record, he definitely.
I think he goes to United, in my opinion.
No, that's I mean, okay, look, let me come to Artis and then we'll end up with the Chelsea thing because we're pressed for time. Artis, what do you make of Kane's season, and then where do you think he goes?
Yeah, I'll be brief. First of all, he's not Daniel Levy. If he's going to leave, he's got to leave the country, and Kane doesn't strike as someone who will leave. I mean, Bayern possibly. There are teams on Europe who would, if Daniel Levy was reasonable, could buy Kane. Between the striker, as Ricardo said, Real Madrid is one. You can even make an argument: is Barcelona one? Because I think Kane would be an improvement over Lewandowski.
He would be amazing at Barca. His playmaking abilities, but I don't think we're going to be looking for him.
So if Daniel Levy was a reasonable negotiator, he would say, listen, 75, 80 mil for guys going to last year's contract would be reasonable, and if he's willing, to be fair, probably. Given Daniel Levy, he probably would be able to negotiate with those clubs for that type of price, like 80, 90 million for Harry Kane last season. But within the Premier League, there's no chance. I have no, and even the reports even coming out that United are thinking of looking obviously other options because they know that Daniel Levy is going to be. Daniel Levy doesn't want to sell to a Premier League rival.
So if let's say United, just for argument's sake, gets Osimhen. So they don't have a striker. And let's say Osimhen actually does well next season. So Kane is on a free. Where does he now go? Keeping in mind that he wants to stay in England to break Shearer's right record, where does he go? If United, okay, we now have a striker.
Come to the blue side, man. Come to the blue side.
There aren't that much clubs he can go to.
He can go to Newcastle. He can go to Newcastle.
This is what I don't get about Levy. If his contract runs out next season, what stops him from going to like another Premier League team?
Yeah, of course, nothing stops him. But it's the kind of like not on my watch type of thing. That's just how Daniel Levy rolls.
But that's just you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. You're cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Oh, yeah, that's Daniel Levy. That's Daniel Levy. It's like, he was never going to sell Bale or any of his top assets to Real Madrid. Yeah, sure, come fine, it's okay. But I'm not selling you to Manchester United or Chelsea like that. So yeah, that's why I say in Kane's defense, there was no way that he was ever going to go to a Premier League team. If he was going to leave, it was going to be to a team.
So actually, you know what? Because I just saw someone just put it in the streets. You know that if United get a striker, and that striker does well, he could end up at Chelsea. Because I don't know who Chelsea are going in for. Because I think what could happen is if United get a striker, Pochettino will be like, let's just ride this season without a striker.
Your number 9 currently playing a Champions League final.
HH, are you sure about that? You don't think he could go to? You don't think
you can get Mikel Antonio?
What's Ricardo? What are you saying?
You don't think if Newcastle keeps putting up results, he could go to Newcastle?
He probably will.
Yeah, that is true. You could go to Newcastle.
I don't know.
It depends. It depends where they finish next year.
I think his aim once his contract is
put some respect on Joe Linton's name.
It's a team that can immediately fight for the league immediately as soon as his contract ends. So it'll be between. I don't know where Chelsea's going to be at.
There we go. Zima just hit the point. What's the point in leaving Tottenham finally to a team where a trophy is still a maybe? If you go to Newcastle, it's still a maybe.
Yeah, but any team
we don't know what they're going to do next year.
No, but
we don't know what they're going to do next year.
Any team that's not Man City is not winning the Premier League. So ultimately,
no. But then you also have to think about who's closer to winning the league, and by then Newcastle might not necessarily be
there's more of a chance of him winning an FA Cup or a Karabuki with United than winning an FA Cup or a Karabuki with Newcastle.
Are you sure about that?
Not necessarily.
But wait, where's Chelsea in this conversation?
How does Chelsea end up in this?
Right, that's fair.
All right, so let's read some of this. Wait, hold up. So the Watchmen have no hairline. Did you sacrifice your health in order to become scroll down Super Frankie Blues FC? All right, so thank you for that. It's fair. Spalletti confirmed leaving Napoli. Yeah, wild, completely wild, man. I don't know how that happened. Wild. Wink, man like Kane, the real Prince Harry, Ricardo. Wow. Oh wow. Shout out to your boy Wing.
If we meant to read out
why you insult Ricardo like that? Why you call him Ricardo? No player as good as Kane is trophyless. Name one.
Mudryk.
Yeah. Whoa.
Can I?
Wait, hold up. And I'm just fair. Immobile lifted a trophy in England before Kane. That's crazy.
So did that is
crazy. Okay, so guys, look. So last topic because we're pressed for time. We're pressed for time. So. Let's be very brief with this. Okay, guys, look, we had a bad season.
The Chelsea.
Okay.
A bad
all right, so it is what it is. These things happen. These things happen.
No,
we're gonna be back next year.
When was last time someone's
we're still 2-time UCL winners. Last checks, we're still 2-time UCL winners.
What is that?
Listen, we are still yes or no? Are we still 2-time UCL winners?
No. You won.
Yes or no? Have we won the EPL several times?
No.
Yeah, hold up. Yes or no? Do we still have the record for most goals considered in a title win?
No.
So those things still stay. Yes, no. Hold up. Yes or no? Do we still have the most clutch striker in football history?
No.
These things still exist.
Can I just play this clip, please?
No, you can't play any clip. These things still exist. And guys, here's the whole thing as well. Do you know why you can't clan Chelsea? Lampard tax. Lampard.
Can I just play this clip?
He's a Chelsea
All right, play with the clip, and you can only play 20 seconds of the clip, and then I'll cut it off.
Fine.
There is no greater project in world football than Chelsea. We have the best young talent in the world. We have a guy in Kai Havertz who could be the next Kaka or Dennis Bergkamp. Ardes. Okay, Ardes, hold up. Ardes. Wait, hold on. Ardes, hold up, come on.
Why are you stopping me?
The way you were talking about him this afternoon, and that's what he said. No,
Kenny, I have a response. Kenny, I have a response. Streets, I have a response. This was taken out of context.
Can I finish the clip, please?
Dennis Bergkamp.
Thank you. Please, let me finish the clip, please.
One of the best all-round midfielders in Kamse. We have one of the most advanced managerial minds in your boy Tommy T.
Beginning of the season, remember.
So
when he puts all those things in accounts and so forth, I want the UCL, I want the Premier League, I want the FA Cup, I want every single trophy. See, Eric, if you give me Conde,
it might still not be enough, but that's a good start. That's a very good start. Yeah, for sure. For me, Kunde will be successful.
The man killing man he showed up. The English Messi showed up. God.
Oh my gosh, Jesus.
No, let me respond. I have a response. Are you done? Are you done? I just need to know, are you done? I need to know whether you're done.
There's no response. There's no response.
I have an explanation.
You're lucky why SK Jackson is not here because
no, he's training for content to cracks tonight.
I think we need to have a receipt of the year. There has to be the receipt of the year.
No. This is nomination for potential brick door because in the space of like pre-season, you were saying. So I was listening to you guys, your Chelsea fans deconstructing Havertz. Somehow in one season, you've gone from comparing Havertz to Kaká and Dennis Bergkamp and saying this guy needs to be sold. On top of that, Mount English Messi,
here's the thing. So the thing though is
that though
you compared everyone to Messi.
No. Wait, hold up.
They called Havertz
Williams. You said he was Messi.
Zeman, I do this because it's called. Don't take everything and say literally. There's the analytical HH, then there's the hype HH. The hype HH is about let's hype up. It's not about analysis. Let's just hype up. That's what I do. I'm just to hype guys up. But then I was in my hype bag. When I'm in my analytical bag, that's different. So what you said was that's just stuff in my hype bag. I was hyping stuff.
We were trying.
But the reality is this: if you in my analytical bag, that's what artists. Why did you play the analytical HH? You just play the hype HH.
I did play the analytical HH.
That's no. That's a hype HH. If you play the analytical HH, the analytical HH would be like, you know
the
what?
The analytical HH at the beginning of the season said you were going to be in for all trophies, and that Havertz was going to lead you to them. That's what the analytical HH said. The analytical HH said Kunde was okay. Actually, that was Eric. To be fair, Eric is the one that said Kunde.
Yes, Eric. and also Eric can't be found, bro. I don't know where Eric is.
Obviously, he said that if Arsenal finished, he has to hide forever.
He said if I finish above, and I finish well above. Okay. So, but here's a question on us. Is this to Ricardo and then everyone else? So, Ricardo, how much should you have faith in an apparent legend? Let me construct this for you a lot better. Let's say Iniesta decides to become manager of Barcelona like in 10 years' time.
Sure.
And he has a record that Lampard does. After his tenure, how would you regard and look at Iniesta?
It doesn't change anything for me because you can separate the player from the manager. Like Maradona, a lot of people say he's the greatest player of all time. The guy fucking stinks. He fucking stinks as a manager. Look, at the end of the day, Frank Lampard. I mean, he's no Iniesta to begin with, so it's not.
And see, I was just about to make that point because my point here is that everyone is just assuming that he's Chelsea's greatest player. Chelsea's greatest player is your boy. Drogba.
Debatable.
Drogba is Chelsea's greatest. The most talented player Chelsea have ever had is a toss-up between Hazard and Zola. That's Chelsea's most talented is Zola and Hazard. Is a toss-up. Chelsea's greatest, what he did in Munich, that's still the freaking deal.
Sure.
That's still the freaking deal. No, it's not.
Hold on.
Yes.
No, it's not. There's has to do anything. It's not. But Ricardo, cook.
No, I mean,
there's a top three.
But this is the thing. Like, I think you missed the point when I said that Frank Lampard is no Iniesta. I think you said that as like club for club. Iniesta's regarded extremely highly, not just in Barcelona, just in the history of football.
But Ricardo, that's the point that you're going to. Lampard, I'm sorry, because that's why I like the Iniesta thing. there is nothing Iniesta can do managerially that can demean what he did as a player. Because
but bro, we're talking about Chelsea.
No. Hold on. My point is that how good was Lampard really?
Oh my!
No, see, stop that. No, wait.
No, was he really? Because I liked what you did because my thing is that for Iniesta is regarded as, forget Barcelona, one of the best midfielders of all time.
We're talking about Chelsea. I'm putting on my London Blues cap right now as a super
Ricardo, and I want you to take off your London Blues crap.
No, I can't because I'm proper Chelsea. And if I'm a Blue Line supporter, I gotta see things from within. Like it's the same thing. You see, remember when you went out and did some interviews about should we get rid of Mason Mount? You had proper Chelsea like fans. They were saying no, we gotta keep Mason Mount because he's from the academy. Like your club's just not that big. Like I'm sorry, like it's a London-based club. That's it. It is what it is. Like you have to make domestic decisions, not international decisions. Frank Lampard is a club legend, whether you like it or not. He's probably top 3 at worst.
So Ricardo, so basically, what I think doesn't matter. Then that's what you're pretty much saying.
No, I think you put your club on a pedestal. That's like as if they were Real Madrid when they're not even like, like Real Madrid in the 1950s is still bigger than Chelsea's entire history. So you need to come back down to earth and realize who you really are. Just
add to that, Ricardo.
I think
Elijah, come to Zima. Elijah.
To add to that, Ricardo, this is the man that also said that Chelsea is the second heaviest jersey in football. Am I wrong, Streets?
Elijah, I do have some more.
You have that, right? Would you mind playing that for us?
No, wait, hold on. Elijah, you know how bad it is? Wait, hold on, RDS. You know how bad it is? This guy grabbed the narratives and the agendas we have conjured and fostered on this channel and try to spread that propaganda outside of Stamford Bridge and thought it was gonna hit.
I don't even know why I come on there, man. Every time we have to suffer for HS sins, man. Why? Why?
Bro, I feel sorry for you, Kenny, man.
No.
I feel sorry for Kenny.
Sorry for Kenny. Well, I'm glad this guy doesn't support Barca. I would put it.
But my thing though is, I just think that here's the thing: Chelsea have had a rough season. It's been a rough year. We've hit a slight roadblock, but we're gonna come back. Yes, it's a slight roadblock. We'll be back next year. But here's the thing: I blame this mostly on Lampard. I'm trying to push forth this narrative.
Wait, what?
Lampard is mostly to blame.
Blame this whole
Why don't
season
you
on
blame
Lampard.
Todd B?
Wait, where were you with Potter?
Can I land? I am pushing forth an agenda. Now, I get it. Of course, Bowley and the owners are generally to blame. But I'm an agenda merchant. I am pushing forth an agenda that I'm laying this squarely on Frank Lampard. Because I'm doing this so that this guy never sets foot in Chelsea ever again.
But HH, I think a lesson should be learned in the scene is that part of the reason why you're in this mess is because you are an agenda merchant. Because you have agendas with certain players and then it backfires. And then you then complain as to why it's not working. So maybe just take a step back and just think, actually, you know what? Let's see how this
but Ardius, I support one of the biggest clubs in the planet, though. That's the only problem, though.
Not even the biggest club in London.
So basically, no. But the only problem is that it's one of the heaviest jerseys. So basically, I can't do it because it's one of the heaviest. Basically, Artists, I support a club that achieved Doi against Bayern Munich. There's been no club in history that's beaten a team as good as Bayern in the home ground in the UCL final. So once that happens, artists, I have to aim for the stars always. I have to.
Man,
it was like I'm so basically as a Chelsea fan, we have to expect like a treble every season because the benchmark is too high. So Ricardo, I resent that comment you made of that Chelsea are not that big. Because we've proven for the best parts of 20 years under Bram that we are one of the biggest clubs on the planet.
You guys are the worst Champions League winners of all time, because you guys are the only team that lost.
Ricardo, we beat
team that lost the Club World Cup and the Super Bowl.
Ricardo, we sunned you. Ricardo, what happened in the 2012 semis? We sunned you in the semis in your own house.
You said
Messi missed the penalty.
You know what sunning
No, Ricardo, Ricardo. We sunned you in the semis, and then we get beat. It is the greatest run in UCL. Basically, it's the greatest achievement in UCL history, pound for pound. Based on what we, because remember, wait, Ricardo, hold up. Ricardo, was that the year that Messi scored 91 goals in the calendar year? Was that the Barca team that we beat?
Messi's done so much.
Little old Chelsea.
You guys better be Luton Town next season, man.
I don't understand how
If
you
you
can
guys
be
don't-
shameless in 12
Because do you know what the thing is? You can't beat me. I'll always come back with a dub. No matter what you say, we clown. No matter what you say, we have the two greatest UCL victories of all time.
No, you don't.
Pound for pound. You see, Liverpool have won.
This is why I don't.
What we did in 2012 and 21, it destroys any other UCL win. Pound for pound, it is the two greatest wins.
There's literally
Based on degree of difficulty, we have the two greatest UCL wins of all time. That's a fact.
What?
That's a scientific fact.
No. That's a scientific fact.
Wait, hold on. Can a two-time Dod UCL winner please speak? Good. Can you talk on Lampard and so forth and the rest of the season?
It's like you're in a boxing match and you're fighting out of a corner and you can't.
I'm throwing blows, but I'm throwing haymakers, man. I ain't going down. No way.
No, HH. No, I get your point when you say Lampard is to blame, but let's be completely honest. If we put our Champions League, title that we won in the COVID season, we never even, tried to win the Premier League since 2016. So it's very hard, to even see. As you said, you can say we can go for the treble next season, but we're dealing with Poch, we're dealing with Todd Bowley, we're dealing with.
Wait. Sorry, good. The streets are saying that you're trying to menstruate your microphone, so maybe move a little bit back from your microphone a bit.
Yeah, is it better now?
Yeah, better. Yeah, that's much better. Go for it.
In about 5 minutes, I need you to call Anna and Faye. We need to have a conversation.
Oh. That's
my fault.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, sorry. Good. Continue.
Yes. No, it's fine. So yeah, we're dealing with a lot of individuals in this club that have never been in a situation of being, responsible of a title-winning team, or even a trophy winning team, or even competing to win trophies. So literally, Todd Bowley is taking us for a ride, and I don't know where he's taking us, but he doesn't have a plan. I don't think Egbali has a plan. Egbali is he's only worrying about where the money is going to be spent. That's why he's on Todd Bowley's neck, and we've got Poch. So it's going to be tough to say that we're going to be back next season or this season after.
Quick question, because Sage is probably not going to answer it. But do you think that Chelsea, under Poch, do you think that they can go to the house in Luton and win? No, I'm just curious because it's not even a stadium; it's houses. Like that you're playing in the back garden.
RDS, don't get punked. RDS, RDS and J-Swiss, you're a few weeks away from Fergie being known as a pensioner.
Wait,
so in a few weeks, Fergie could be known as just an old age pensioner. So that's what I'm saying, bro.
We just want to know. One
that's what I'm saying. I'm good. Can you continue talk because over this Boychester dudes, man?
No. To be fair with RDS, right? Knowing that Chelsea were well regarded, I'm not going to say where, they're still regarded as one of the top 4, top 5 teams in England. Right, and one season blip, 2 season blip is fine. It's fine. One season or 2 seasons are completely fine. But all we can hope for
remember, we are still the biggest club in London. And we're still the only London club that have won a European trophy. That's a fact. So
you're the biggest in your own ends. Fulham are.
Gullet.
HH, we have to take it. We have to take it this season.
No, good. I don't have to take
it.
anything. No, good. I don't have to take it because good. I think the reason why is that I've already taken enough throughout this year. So now I'm fighting back. So my thing though is it doesn't matter what anyone says. It doesn't take away our 2 UCLs, which are the 2 greatest UCL wins ever, and the amounts of success we've had. This year, we took our foot off the brake this year. Hopefully, things can now marinate, but that's why I'm pushing forth an agenda. This is down to these boneheaded owners, and owners decided to hire the worst manager in the EPL history. So for all you guys playing Chelsea, what do you think was going to happen? Hiring the worst manager in EPL history in the bad situation we're in. What do you think was going to happen?
You need to I think
so. Chelsea, you can't criticize Chelsea when we shot ourselves in the foot. So how does criticism come through?
Yeah, but you're already in that position when you went before Lampard came in. You need therapy. Listen, this hangout is a therapy session. You need to unwind, de-stress, because at the end of the day, I'm seeing the signs of denial here. Gill has gone on to at least acceptance. Sorry, Gill is in grief. Kenny's with acceptance. You're also in the stage of delusion right now, denial basically. Because the reality is that this has been a disaster season for Chelsea Football Club. If you want to talk about the stuff you won in the past and trophies and blah blah, that's fine. At the end of the day, that was under Abramovich. You don't have Abramovich anymore. You've now got an owner now, called Torboli, who apparently believes that 4-4-3 is a thing. That's where Chelsea are right now. That's the relationship.
HH, I've got a question for you.
How much blame could you give Lampard for where Chelsea finished at the end of the day? How much blame do you give Lampard?
How can I Lampard? I give Lampard 30% even 20% of the blame, because at the end of the day, you had 3 managers this season. Tuchel at the start of the season wasn't that great. He kept you up. He kept you up. Don't get me wrong. He kept you up in the points, but he wasn't that great, to be honest. Okay. I still remember that spanking that Leeds gave you, and Leeds got relegated. Remember 3-0? That was under Tuchel. What's his name? Potter comes in because that's the guy. That's your own who wants him. Potter wasn't great. You went as low as 10th, 11th place, and then now and to be fair, Lampard's when Potter got sacked, you were about 10th, 11th. And you're 12th, so he regressed you by one position. So you can't put this.
But then look at his record, though. Look at his record as Everton and his record here, and also not only that, he has made the situation even worse.
60% of, I would argue, the majority of that is on Todd Bowley and the ownership, and the fact that
I give Lampard 40, man. Continue.
HH, basically, when Lampard came in, he only added salt to the wound.
Yeah,
literally, that's what he did.
And my thing is that who begged him to take the job? Why did he accept it? That's my issue there. Because yes, offering it to him was stupid. Why, in your infinite wisdom, knowing how crap you are, did you accept it?
I can answer that question for you, HH.
Okay.
This guy literally came into Chelsea for an apprenticeship, since he doesn't have his training certificate. That's literally what happened. Nothing else. He didn't come to improve anything. He didn't come to bring an idea. He didn't even try and stay. If he cared about this club and he was genuine, and he sees himself as a legend, and he thinks that he needs to bring something back or give something back to the club, he could have at least stayed back with Pochettino and see what he can do just to fix what he's doing, and all the mistakes he did. But he didn't want to do that either. So the question we need to ask ourselves is, genuinely as Chelsea fans, Kenny and HH, what are our goals for next season?
I don't want to answer that question.
He's top 4. He's challenging for top 4 and trying to win a cup.
Kenny, don't.
No, but it's just we have to be realistic.
Kenny, I don't have to be I will deal with that at one time, but I am not after 20 years of being one of the biggest clubs on the planet. I'm not accepting top 4 as ceiling. No, I'm not.
But that's what we've been doing for the past 4 or 5 years.
No. For the past 4 or 5 years, our intention was always to win, but we fell short. But our intention was to win. But right now, I'm not accepting our intention is to get top 4. At no point under Abramovich apart from the transfer ban season, at no point was the intention be top 4, where that is your ceiling. Even if you come 10th, 11th, 14th, the intention was to win the league. I am not having and accepting Chelsea's intention being top 4. That is never
No,
happening.
it's
Never.
not intention. The intention might be winning the league, but you have to be realistic with the teams that are there. The teams. When I say
Kenny,
the teams,
I don't give it down. This
it's
is Chelsea. You've spent
Realistically,
600. No, you spent 600 mil. I expect the Premier League trophy. I don't give a damn who the hell Pep is. I don't care who Pep is. I don't care Pep is. Pep. I don't care who that man is. I expect it for a Premier. You spend 600 mil. Give me an EPL trophy next year. AK, talk to me. Thoughts on Chelsea, man, and Lampard.
I mean,
RDS, don't get beat in next Saturday, bro.
Okay. Who's hosting the UCL fight, the Hangouts next season? I saw.
Oh, shut up.
Okay,
continue.
Actually, a good question, by the way. A good question. I think Chelsea this season, it's been a disaster. Of course, Lampard deserves blame. But you already knew Lampard was an incompetent manager coming into the thing. So how much more blame do you want to give him when he's only done what you knew he was gonna do? I think Potter deserves blame, Tuchel deserves blame, Bowley deserves more blame than anyone. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how it's looking more optimistic next season. Your sporting director is currently scouting minors on Instagram and following them for some reason.
Okay. So let's not.
You're looking at signing this Ugarte guy. He seems a good player, but as we know, Chelsea ruins every player currently that goes to them. Your owner doesn't know what he's doing. You have a manager coming in who's pretty much known for bottling and mediocrity. He's a good manager, but currently with how the current, Premier League is going with Newcastle, Brighton might make top 4 next year, given that they're making pretty good signings. Aston Villa under Emery, they're an underrated shout, in my opinion, to get into that top 6 thing. I do not know how Chelsea, even if they improve, crack that top 4 race next season. It's going to be very difficult.
I have a question quickly about Pochettino. Except Klopp and Porsche, you can say 100% are better managers than him. He has an argument to be still the 3rd best manager in the league when it comes next
over Emery. So you're saying
yes, he has an argument. Yeah, he has an argument.
Kenny, are you only saying that Pochettino is a better manager than Unai Emery?
Yes, an argument. Yes, he does. Why are you guys acting as if this guy is some trash? Emery has won Europa League. Cool. These guys don't know. Yeah, they both won Liga as well.
So Kenny, you're honestly saying that Pochettino is a better manager than Emery.
I'm not saying he's better.
And the Zurb.
I'm not saying he's better. I'm saying there's an argument for him to be. There's an argument for him to be.
I expect he's better from the second biggest club in the world.
HH also,
that's HH's expectations.
Although we were all saying this meme that Chelsea buy players off Twitter, I didn't understand it, and I thought it wasn't gonna be true until yesterday, when this Federico Redondo guy started trending on Twitter. And granted, he's a very good player from what I've seen. The next thing I see, Chelsea are scouting him. You're scouting a player off of him trending on Twitter. That's a
It's true, HH, it's true.
Hey man, they're getting with the trend. That's social media scouting.
Okay, wait. Let me come to SM quickly, and then I take you to and be out of here. SM, thoughts on Chelsea, Lampard, and Lampard being the worst manager of all time, and him causing our downfall.
So I got a bounce.
Your downfall started with Todd Bowley's arrival. So it's not Frank Lampard's fault completely.
Just don't mess up the track.
But for next season, because that's what's more important. Next season, you have to finish top 4. Like, there's no European football. Like, what's the excuse?
SM, okay, maybe you didn't hear me properly and everything. Maybe there's a bad connection. I am not a top 4 merchant. I'm a trophy merchant. I speak fluent trophy. I don't speak a basic top 4. I speak fluent trophy.
So question then: if you have Arsenal season right now, unless we're top of the league for like 90%, and then you bottle it, then is that a failure to you?
That is beyond a failure. Because it's Chelsea, not Arsenal. It's Chelsea. It is beyond a failure.
Well, what if you finish second and you win an FA Cup?
That is a semi-failure. winning trophy and everything, but it's still a semi-failure because we fell short of winning the prime goal. Because the main thing is either you give me a Champions League or a league. If you don't give me any of those two trophies, it's a failure.
But
SM, you're referring to one of the biggest clubs in the world. We punked you in 2020, 2021. That's the kind of club that we're in.
Listen, leave. Okay, in 2 weeks we'll deal with that. Okay, in 2 weeks. But listen, do you really believe you're gonna win the league? Like, or are you trolling?
SM, no. Me believing, that's not the issue.
Okay.
This club has spent 600 mil. I expect either a Premier League or a Champions League. So forget about me believing. I'm dealing with facts. You spent 600. SM, 600 million. I need either a league or a Champions League. So it's very simple math. Like it's not really that complicated. So like
I gotta bounce, but let me ask you one question.
Like, no, hold on. Here's what's going to happen. I'm not gonna allow you in football. This ain't baseball or basketball. This is football. I'm not gonna allow you to spend 600 mil and say, "Oh, I'll see you back here in 5 years." Nah, doesn't work. This is football. Nah, doesn't work.
We didn't say 5 years, but can you let the new manager work a bit?
That's crazy. So if Poch doesn't win the league, then what? He gets sacked?
Oh no, but you're in the hot seat. Also, it depends on in the manner in which you didn't win.
But how can you be in the hot seat if you're going through a project?
Yeah.
Remember, this is a project.
Well, Elijah, the fact is that I don't accept we're going through a project. I don't accept that.
But you already said you guys are going through a project.
And Elijah, I don't give a crap. I don't care.
It's just in denial, man.
I'm a very simple person. Elijah, I don't give a crap. It says we are not in a project. This still says for I don't give a crap about what it says. So there is no process here. Give me the league or the Champions League, or we're gonna have issues.
Wait, do you
give him time? Give HH time. Man.
Next season, you believe you're gonna go to like Anfield and beat Liverpool, or go to Etihad and beat City and go?
I expect after our transfer summer, I expect us to. Wait, hold on. Let me read some Dubinsky's. Blue fan. So RDS, HH said nothing wrong about exciting products. It did not end this season. Look at the following seasons and you'll see. Facts. Blues fans again. You didn't know that Hendrick was 16? That's where football is going. Buying players before they reach the £100 million mark. Chelsea did the same with Pies. But here's the thing, though. Hendrick is Brazilian, bro. When a guy is Brazilian and is young and he's hyped, bro, it's a whole different gravy, bro. It's a whole different gravy. Wait. Let me read the jobs. Blues fan. For me, Chelsea's greatest ever is between Lampard and Drogba. For me, it's Drogba. Both were keen in winning the Premier League and UCL. Lampard in 2012 semis, yes, he bought. Hazard is best, but not greatest due to UCL. You should have seen Zola. Hazard is amazing. You should have seen Zola play because Zola was an outstanding player. But for me, it's a toss-up between Zola. Like, so for Chelsea's great, it's an argument between Drogba, Lampard. He may be racist. He may be an adulterer. Terry, bro.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry. Like, say what you want about Terry. At a point, Terry was one of the best defenders in the world.
But wouldn't you say since Chelsea's a racist club, that technically puts more...
Ifman, thank you for the dub. Ifman. Lampard will always be a Chelsea legend as his player legacy is always intact. But his legacy as a Chelsea figure took a major hit. Facts. Example, Raul has a bigger Real Madrid legacy than Zidane as a player, but Zidane's manager run made him a bigger figure for Real Madrid like Cruyff is over Messi for Barca. Oh, for sure. Like, what Zidane did in that UC run it's made him a bigger legend than Raul overall. If you take everything as a whole. Abris Fair. AK was right. Arsenal's season is a failure because they had nothing else to play for. Rotated players in Europa at an FA Cup to focus on the Premier League. 3 trophyless seasons. Again, why are we rating Arsenal so highly? If you're being real, you should not have expected them to win the league. The issue with you guys is that you expected them to say what's up and they didn't come through, so you're now saying they failed. But why did you expect them to say what's up? Minecraft the Diamond. When will Todd B suggest 4-4-4? All right. Okay. Thank you for that. Gatlock. Chelsea really tried to keep Leeds and Southampton up.
How many points did Southampton have? Like 24? We gave them 6 points.
Like 24. Yeah. No, we gave them points, man. What was Okay. All right.
Now that I'm here,
that's and how you're still here. I have no idea, guys. It's been
suppressing
swell.
my
It's
freedom
been
of
interesting,
speech, man.
guys. We might be on Twitch. Content cracks might be popping on Twitch. Z-Man, get ready right now. Z-Man, get ready.
It's just how do you join the
DM
club?
in the world, man.
Okay, do you have your PS5?
Yeah, we're here, man. Of
Send
course,
an
of course.
an invite, and then we'll give you a position. Send an invite, bro. My handle is I am half hope. My handle is I'm half hope. Send an invite and come on in. Z-Man, get ready. So guys, like the vid, subscribe if you're new. Remember, this is going to be on Spotify and so forth. Bless you, and I'll see you guys on Monday for the members hangouts on Monday. Peace.